Slowly flowing around the world, the winds of change spin violently around without a whim, contorting and controlling the threads of fate of all mortal life. The continent of Valen is the smallest of the land masses on the realm. Most of the realm is large woodland and extremely high mountains that stretch up and touch the heavens. The woodland area stretches for miles, and many creatures inhabit its dark and gloomy depths. Trying to move through this gloom of the forest, you could easily become lost for days before finding any sort of civilization. Traveling away from the woodland can be also treacherous due to the open fields where monstrous creatures roam, hunting in packs of animals, making sure that any unfortunate adventurer whom crosses their path becomes their next meal. The fields are mainly used by farmers who use it to grow crops to feed the local villagers that scattered across the realm. These small villages are around the realm only to support the main city grow and prosper, as this is where most of the produce they grow and crafts they are created are sold under a fair and safe regulated system under the careful watch of the city guards. The main city sits in the shadow of the largest mountain, and its giant stone walls give a sense of safety for tired travelers who need a place to rest and recover before moving on. Once entered through the main city gates, you are confronted by a vast and open district, a vibrant and busy district where most travelers can be found, browsing and selling their goods to the citizens and other travelers alike. Passing through the district, the scent of freshly baked bread and freshly cut wood permeates across the air and beckons you to come closer with its mouth-watering and intriguing aromas. Heading north past a secondary gate, you come to a run-down and extremely crowded residential area, where people are forced to live together for warmth, as most of the houses don't even have windows to keep the cold out. The roads are unkempt. Vermin roam the street, bringing infection and disease with it. Following the western gates from the low-born residential area, you come to a beautiful garden and gathering area where the middle class and lower nobles gather to gossip and share news that flows around. Heading further on would cause you to enter the noble sector, where only the highborn and nobility can enter. The buildings of this area are decked with the finest gilded metals and varnished woods that range from polished oak and mahogany beams mixed with iron or steel braces. Each home has its own segregated patch of land to be used as they see fit. Some of the nobles contract gardeners to create beautiful natural works of art to express their devotion to their faith. However, some of the nobles use the space they have more practical, as some create a space for either sword practice, archery. Even between nobles there is a hierarchy, and some even look down upon the others as they don't have the skills to partake in the game of politics. Each aspect of city life is run by the game. Once out of the noble sector, the last sector, which is the most guarded, is the royal castle district. Entry to this is forbidden to anyone who isn't invited by royal invitation or summoned by an official. The castle grounds are always in perfect order no matter the season, as the royal family expresses great love of nature. The castle was built first and the city was built around the castle, as where it sits it is in prime location for defense of the region, as while standing on the main battlement You can see over the open fields and can spot any force entering the region. The city that became the grand and beautiful hub for adventurers and travellers started off slow, as the region was always seen as a dangerous area due to the monstrous and carnivorous creatures that roamed the lands. Hidden away in the commercial district in a back street is a dim and slightly run-down building, with a sign hanging from it at the side. The sign that hangs off the building clearly shows the royal crest, and then the name of the building underneath it, which is the Happy Vale Orphanage. This orphanage is one of many that reside in the city walls, that take in children from disasters, wars, even child abandonments. Most orphanages are full of life and the littlest happinesses they can provide to these children who have been through the hell that no child should ever go through. Happy Vale Orphanage is not like the others, as it is not filled with life, it is filled with hate. Despair these children feel, as they only are used as slaves by this demon-like woman who runs the orphanage like a slave encampment. Rules in the orphanage are extremely strict. The punishments for breaking any rule go beyond the scope that could be classed as abuse. Regular beatings on parts of the body that wasn't visible and easily seen were carried out. She did this on the off chance that a child would be selected to be viewed by anyone whom is looking to adopt a child. Even the children that were about to be adopted, she would pin on more charges that were necessary to earn as much as she can by selling the children as goods instead of people. The children were forced to call this woman Mother, as it shows a fake appreciation and it gives the woman in question a large ego boost that wasn't deserved in any matter. Once the children have grown and become of age, she would beat them more severely, as she could not sell them anymore, even though the children were still needed the support of the orphanage. They were cast out onto the streets to either rot in the gutter with the vermin or climb out of the dirt and prosper. She calls this a chance of life. The children to her were products, so in fact she has never named or even bothered to remember a single name of any of the children she has taken in, and only refers to them as numbers. She only does this so it's easier to assign chores and either punishments to them when she feels like doing so. The aides that assisted her were no better, as they were cruel and downright evil. One example of is that one boy hit one of the aides with a shoe as he was using it as a toy bird. As he swung his arm, it hit the aide's leg. The aide quickly snarled and grabbed the boy by his collar, dragging him to the basement and slammed the door. After a few hours of screaming and constant crying, the boy reappeared covered in bruises from being hit with a hard object across the stomach and legs. Coming of age was a terrifying time for any child, as the age that you were seen as an adult was 16 years of age. Once you become of age, your family would send you off to either become apprentice of a master of a craft or a skill. These skills could be a swordmaster who would send you into the town guards or military, or even a magician's apprentice. Some crafters also take on apprentices. Crafting masters teach the apprentice to become carpenters or chefs or even fishermen so they can feed and support the city. However, the roles are not just in craftsmanship or swordsmanship. Some are even in hospitality, like seamstresses, maid, butlers, or many other ways. However, for those who don't have families with connections and wealth, the families could always sell their children into servitude which most orphanages frown upon, except one. The Happy Vale Orphanage, July the 3rd, was the day that 32 was to become of age. While cleaning the halls, he overheard a conversation between Mother and an angry individual. "Males are not good for business. I need a female that are come of age, as they are in demand, you old fool. My client is paying very good money for this." The individual barked harshly towards Mother. "Look here, this is the only one and the only place where you can get apprentices for your line of work, so you really can't complain, can you?" She spoke with venom as the individual growled under their breath and turned towards the window. "Send him on an errand on the day after his papers arrive from the royal accountant. Once in your possession, I shall collect him soon after, but you will only get your gold once we have made the trade." The individual sighed in annoyance as he turned to the back door and left, as Mother grinned a crooked smile, knowing she is going to get paid soon. 32 looked at the calendar, which he usually paid no mind to, and read it said 2nd of July, and he knew the papers will be already in Mother's desk, as the royal accountant is never late or is very early with important documents. Without haste, 32 slowly crept up to the sleeping quarters and began to pack his things, trying to be as quiet as possible, not wanting to be noticed in the darkness of the sleeping quarters. Looking up slowly, he noted 16, a girl who is around the same age but has already been selected by the church for apprenticeship. Her golden yet dirty hair covered half of her face, and her tattered dress hides her true beauty. Her skin seems untouched by age or wrinkle. Her radiant blue eyes shine in the gloom, as her normal expression transforms into a confused glare. "Where do you think you're going? Did you get selected?" 16 slowly spoke with a hushed tone, not wanting to wake the younger children. Yeah, but I need to go meet them right now, but you keep it to yourself, as it's not fully signed yet, and if I lose it, I don't want the others to be disappointed once I tell them." 32 slowly speaks and quickly gathers his items, and doesn't allow 16 to question his answer further. Once he collected his items, which were basic and minimal at best, he snuck down to the office and listened to the door for a moment for any sounds from within. Once his ear touched the office, a loud snoring noise resonated from the room to the left of the office. 32 sighed in relief and puts out a hairpin he found on the ground while he was cleaning and begins to pick the office lock. Slowly, the lock clicked as he turned the hairpin, and the process seemed to take forever, but within a few moments, the final click happened and the lock snapped open. He sighed in relief as the door swung open slowly, but with a loud creak. Slowly and surely, 32 quickly entered the office and closed the door, making sure that the door stays open a slight jar so the lock does not reactivate. In the office, quickly as fast as he could, he began searching for the documents. The search seemed to take an age, but when searching the drawer that Mother would place important documents inside, he found that there wasn't a single document inside. Just when he was about to give in, his hand knocked a panel that sounded hollow. Slowly, he took a pair of scissors from her desk and separated the panel, and found a lot of paperwork, including adoption applications and many other requests that were ignored. Rage began to bubble as he quickly searched the paperwork to find the documents he needed. Minutes passed by as each document scan caused more rage and anger, as some of the content she hid were letters from parents that children should have had when they came of age, but never received. Some of these documents and letters from the parents were "I'm sorry" letters, or "You can find us here" letters. It caused so much rage in 32. Slowly, he came to a pile of sealed envelopes and found his allocated name, and smiled. But as he walked across the room, he looked down and found a pile of boxes with his number written on hastily that looked old. Slowly, he reached down and opened the fragile, decaying cardboard box and looked at the items that were being contained. 32's eyes widened as he began to shake in anger as he slowly lifted up a baby blanket and a small key with a raven embossed handle. Without a word, he stands up and leaves the office with the blanket and other items tucked inside his makeshift bag. Slowly, he climbed down the stairs, and before he could leave, he found that the door to the street has been padlocked closed like many other nights before. 32 growled to himself and went back upstairs to the door where Mother was asleep. He opened the door and approached Mother, but when he entered the room, she opened her eyes and grabbed her cane and snarled in his direction. "Why are you awake? You should be in bed. You have lots of duties tomorrow, and my God, you're getting a beating." Mother shakes in anger as 32 just stands there, holds his hands up in a defensive stance. "Where do you think you're going? What do you think you're doing?" She snarls loudly as she notices his bag and begins to move closer while swinging her cane at him. Each step towards him was another strike on his body, as she began screaming obscenities at him while bringing the cane down upon his body. Once the final strike landed, he grabbed her cane and threw it across the room and just stared coldly at her with a gaze that could freeze water solid. Mother stumbled backward and landed on the ground while screaming in fear as he approached her and grips the key that sits around her neck and snaps it from around her neck without saying a single word or removing his eyes from her. Walking backwards towards the door, he looked back and gave her a death's glare. After leaving the room, he walked to the door and began unlocking it, making sure that the padlock was thrown to the ground and the door was swung open. This door led to the dark, dank, dingy streets that were that dark even the light from the inside of the house could not pierce it. Mother became frantic, began to panic and grab him, trying to stop him from leaving by grabbing onto his arm, but with a wiry stare he resented her and released himself, while watching her as he walked into the darkness. The surrounding locals would have heard the screaming as she slammed the door, knowing that her payday just got away. Hiya guys, this is Kindarous. I just want to say thank you for watching. Would you please subscribe, share, like my videos, comment in the section below if you like the fantasy stuff. I am going to obviously continue with my urban legends and my creepypasta stuff, but yeah, I thought I'd do something different. So, like I said, please follow, like, and subscribe. I'd like to give a special shout out to Jessica Maria and her friends, which is Gemma and Mary. They've been commenting a lot on my videos, so I just wanted to give them a special shout out saying thanks for the support, guys, and yeah, you're not getting a face reveal for a long while, so unlucky. Maybe in the future though. So, this is Kindarous, signing off. See you next time, guys.